Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I'm a candidate engagement author and speaker. I'm, of course, joined by my gorgeous co-host, Audra Knight, employer branding genius, nerd. Has she got purple hair? I'm not sure. This week, we're very excited because, well, one, because we're going to hear about LinkedIn's naughty step, but mostly because Brian Fink is joining us, senior technical recruiter. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Can you tell us, for anyone that hasn't seen you speak at SourceCon or online, what you're doing with RentPath and maybe your career, how you got into sourcing?
Okay, so about RentPath, I'll tackle that first, is that I'm a senior technical recruiter with our team here. What we focus on is simplifying and automating the rental process for about 12 million monthly unique visitors that are coming to our family of websites. They're high production websites, Apartment Guide, Rentals, Rent.com, and Live Lovely. And what I'm really focused on doing is finding technical talent. And by that, I'm talking about the people who are really working on the SDLC, who are building applications for consumers and for businesses to be able to really have a consocial relationship. Now, how I got into recruiting is because I have a big mouth and because I always, I'm going to blame my mother for this, is that my mother always says that
Is she here?
I don't know if she's here, right?
That
is that my mother says that if you see a problem, you don't need to say there's a problem, you need to say that there's a solution. And I was going through the recruiting process for a pharmaceutical sales role, and this was about 13, 14 years ago. And I got blocked out of the final interview, and I couldn't make it past the recruiter to get to the final interview. And once I got into talking to the hiring manager told me, you're not going to be a very good pharmaceutical sales rep if you can't get past as much as a recruiter. So I went back to the founder of that firm, VMG, Jeff Audette, had a conversation with Jeff about what I thought he could do to run his business better and create a better candidate experience. And he said, well, I'm not hiring for, nobody called it candidate experience 15 years ago, but he said, I'm not hiring for that, but I'm looking for a salesperson. Do you want to be a salesperson and try to turn this thing around that way? And I was like, yeah, I'll be a salesperson. I'll go call people and tell them I'll go call internal recruiters and be like, I can recruit better than you. And I found out very quickly in my first week that was not the best pitch to have with people. But that's where I started. And I started initially in sales recruiting. And then when the recession hit, I went off and started my own search firm where we focused on finding technical talent and really had like a really good basis on SEO and started working with ad tech companies. And that's how I arrived at working on technology recruiting.
It's funny how the recession was such a crucial point. So, the internet was such a disruptor, but obviously without the recession, all the people wouldn't have appeared online because obviously It was like, oh, need a job. It was, it's been interesting going back to writing the book about just really noticing that change because I started in 2003, 4, and there's that crucial moment where everyone just went and appeared online. It just made headhunting easier.
Well, so like in 2005, we were still using the fax machine to send resumes over to hiring managers, right?
And you had a Rolodex.
Yeah, I did have a Rolodex, right? I remember when I got my first BlackBerry and I was like, I can get rid of my Rolodex. I'm done with that noise.
I know. It's like in the last 15 years, there's been so much change. I'm loving my little Rolodex survey on Facebook, though. It's going very well. It's quite funny who's saying, no one's going to understand what that is.
You don't still have yours, do you, Katrina?
No, of course not. Every time someone gives me a business card, I'm like, okay. I'm like, actually, I've got one right there. Someone's given me that I've done nothing with.
I snap it with my Evernote and I hand the card back to them and I say, thanks very much. And they're like, don't you, they looked at me like I kicked them in the nuts. They look like very insulted when I hand them the card back. And I'm like, yeah, I'm very good. I took a picture of it. It'll connect us on LinkedIn later.
Oh, that is clever. I think I'd be blown away.
It's such a waste of tree. And being laminated, this is not recyclable.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're laminated. They're waterproof. They're made out of plastic. They now have QR, AR virtual reality codes.
Yeah. Actually, I was giving someone stick because he had his QR code for LinkedIn on his phone screensaver rather than the dogs, which is what's meant to be there, or your cats, or your children.
Wow.
I'm going, no, that's not right.
I'm like, that doesn't work, man. Like that's like way too dedicated to your craft.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're already on your favorite subject.
What is the better way at conferences to, share? Just connect with them, or?
So if you want, you can go on your LinkedIn. I'm pulling that up right quick. You can go on LinkedIn and yeah, they did let me back in. They let me back in. I've been back since the 27th of December. It was a great day. I ate some blue cake. I had some blue Kool-Aid. Yeah, I know, the 27th of, like, it's like we let you back in the end of the year. Nobody's going to check this shit anyhow, right? So, but if you go on LinkedIn, you can actually, if you're at a conference, you can. Where did they move this to?
Like connect with people close by, right?
Yeah, for close by, and you've got the QR code. You can scan it and things of that nature, right? Yeah. Either that, or if you're at a conference, why not follow the conference hashtag and put out your QR code so that people can scan that if you're that eager to build followers. Also,
but I like personalized invites to connect, so that won't work.
Well, if I only had one LinkedIn profile, I'd be worried about that, but I don't have one LinkedIn profile. So
you're 16.
It's breaching the terms and conditions. Ali has arrived. Let's not give her bad information before she's started in the industry. Honestly, Audra, this is how I do it. I go, well, you can add me on LinkedIn, but if it's somebody I really like, it's like, add me on Facebook, because otherwise I'll forget about you in the midst. Then be amongst the 1,000, not the thousands.
So I was going to say is that Ronnie Bratcher and I, when we were at TMA, I think Ronnie's on the line.
He is here.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta shows up. Atlanta's supports Atlanta. When we were at the TMA together, I try to tell.
Page Jim.
Is Jim here? I tried TMA Talent Management Alliance. They put on smaller conferences. Too. Yeah, they're great.
Pretty cool.
The thing that I try to tell participants is I'm like, if you want to talk to me, add me on Facebook Messenger. That's the best way to chat with me. Like LinkedIn gets too junked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's so easy to lose messages. So you go to search, and even if I put Brian Fink in inverted commas in the search message box, they just brings up all the Brian messages for the last year. And you're like, oh my God, I'm not asking much.
Whether you're working on LinkedIn or LinkedIn Recruiter. There's Jim. All right, what's up, man?
I just messaged him and he wrote, you're lacking. Oh, that's creepy.
Atlanta shows up. Atlanta comes to party.
Look, I need to get this to this Atlanta source code. We need to work that out. Anyway, so most importantly, and Heather would like to know as well, how did you get yourself kicked off? What did you do to land on LinkedIn's naughty stuff? Let's be honest. Ali, block your ears, because we're talking about good recruitment. This is not.
No. My wife knows, because she was like, how was your day today?
Is Ali not the one learning? Who's the one learning?
No. Yeah, the one that's learning the other Fink, Robin. She's
Robin, is she here? Is she here?
I don't know. All right, so whatever.
Anyway, can't see it live.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that I felt that sending messages to my first connections on LinkedIn was a little cumbersome. Right. And so I went through and I found 18,000 engineers that I'm connected with in the United States. Jeez. And I wrote a script that would automate the cursor to run on the screen and send messages to those 18,000 saying, Happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you're doing well. If you're considering making a move in the first quarter, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Short, sweet, to the point, happy Thanksgiving. Lo and behold, on December 4th, I fired up LinkedIn and spammer, I should be ashamed. Yeah, I should be ashamed.
Tony's hiding. Do we know who Tony is? Tony Orlando, that's not helping.
Tony Orlando. He's Tony Orlando.
Oh, it is. That's the full name. Okay.
Yeah. So we
so you have to do them in small batches. That's the trick.
That's the trick. You can't do 18,000 at once. It's a no-no.
It has to be highly personalized, very small batches, very random breaks.
How small can you get away with?
300-400 tops.
I got away with 1,000 the other day.
I do invites to connect, and I do 300 highly personalized, and then it randomly stops and stuff like that. It's very cool.
Oh, they highly personalized.
So when you get to 3,000 connections, you've then got to delete, not connections, invites. You've got to delete all the ones that haven't been accepted. It gets a bit complicated.
And start over. Yeah. So well,
I'm being cheap. I'm not paying for the emails.
So if you're going to be cheap and you're not going to do that, then just go to the section where you can upload the spreadsheet of who you want to talk to, and go from there and click that so that you can send that blast message to 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Not saying that I do that on the reg either. No. Don't do that on the reg. I cast a very wide net.
If you've already got all their contact details, why don't you just send them a hyper-personalized video message on Lemlist?
Or email.
Or Boom. So I like to think that you have to touch multiple places. Wow, that came out really
wait
wrong.
a minute.
Particularly when you just said boom.
Yeah. So you've got to touch candidates different places. People respond differently to email. I know I'm trying to go with this different places thing, and it's like Brian, you sound like a child molester.
Well, we don't do professional on this show. You can wear what you want. You can be what you want.
Oh, great. Okay. So I think that it takes multiple outreaches to candidates, especially those who are being bombarded by email, LinkedIn messages, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Ooh. Does anybody get on the TikTok?
That sounds like something for children.
It is something for children, but you've got a lot of adults. Yeah, so it's a video messaging platform where it started off.
Yes, I know about this.
People doing lip syncs and what have you, right? So what do I send to people? I send, call me maybe.
Oh.
and you're laughing at that, right? And that's great. And if I can make somebody laugh, then I know that we can have a conversation.
Yeah. No, I've just gone, that has to go in my book. So there has to be an edit in the messaging thing with a little quote about Brian Fink says, call me baby.
Well, I mean,
I love all this stuff. I don't understand why recruiters send an email and then and if you're lucky, send another email and that's it. I'm just like, have they heard of calling, WhatsApping, sending video? I don't get it. I love that you're doing that. I'm laughing because I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. So like on WhatsApp or Facebook, I particularly like the Game of Thrones community. And if I'm reaching out to a female developer, I send a picture of Khal Drogo with call me maybe, spelled out KHAL, me, maybe, regarding the opportunity. Because I think if I can engage them on that level with that hyper-personalization that you're talking about and make them laugh about it. I mean, after all, how many Khaleesi's are there on LinkedIn and Facebook? Oh, there are lots. There are plenty of female developers
right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. I just have not actually got into. It's one of those ones I haven't been sucked into.
Yeah. So,
are they characters in the show?
It's almost over. We've got like 8 more episodes. Just Jon Snow die. Who knows?
There'll be reruns.
Sure, there'll be reruns.
I could buy the box set. So while you're on LinkedIn's naughty step crying because she'd spammed 8,000 people or whatever it was, what did you do? I mean, 18. Sorry, got 18. So, I take it your entire sourcing world came to a halt because people are only on LinkedIn.
Right.
Oh, it did. It came to a complete and total halt. I mean, I was completely distraught. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought for a minute that I might hang up my recruiter hat and go back to recruiter school. So the hour and a half a day that I was using LinkedIn, that made me go and use other resources, like to really get technical, using things like I'm going to put this in the chat box. People find Thor. Have you used that tool? Anybody? Okay, so people find Thor is actually a string builder that will build your Boolean strings specifically for Facebook.
Ooh,
okay. So what I did is I started using this tool. So before that, I had used Shane McCusker's IntelliSearch.
I was just going to ask, why wouldn't you just use that?
Because they both bring back different results.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
right?
But surely Facebook is for personal. You couldn't possibly.
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. If you put your job title on Facebook, then you are inviting me to have a conversation with you about what you do as an engineer.
Yeah. I think so.
So of the 18,000 spam messages you sent via Messenger, how many came back to you and said, "Arsehole, please don't use Messenger. This is my personal space"?
So I have a 54 response rate. I have a 54% positive response rate on Facebook.
So no one's come back and gone, "How dare you"?
Oh, the other 46 who tell me, you're a recruiter, you're a scumbag, you're this, you're that, and what have you. Okay, I got that cowboy shirt on. I'm ready to go.
I'm being more specific about the actual, but this is my personal space, how dare you? No one's come back and said that, though. They've come back and gone, "You're a recruiter, piss off." But I'm saying, have they come back and said that?
Oh, good point.
When I say to people, use it, they go, "Oh, but it's my personal space." So I'm trying to say, does anyone actually?
So people will say it's their personal space, but I also get people who ask me the question, like they berate me, and then they say, "How did you find me?"
Yeah.
And then I say, "Well, I'd be happy to show you. Do you want to jump on a screen share?" And they're like, "Are you for real?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it'll take 10 minutes, and I'll show you how I did it." And from those people I've converted into individuals who actually want to have a conversation with me. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about Facebook versus Instagram. I don't think Facebook is personal anymore. Are younger people really that personal on Facebook? I'm going after. Yeah, I was going to say I'm not looking at their age. I don't have that data. I'm really looking at what they like, what they're into. You talk about that hyper personalization. Is that I can look and find people who are software engineers who like the same type of music who like Green Day. Green Day is awesome. Or who think Pearl Jam is awesome, because I know Ronnie's listening. And I can have a conversation with them and say, "Notice that you're a big Pearl Jam fan. I'm looking for a software engineer. What's your favorite song?" That's a 3-sentence message. And if they get back to me and they say, "This is my favorite song," the next step for me to do is to go out there and find, especially if I'm going after music, for me to go find a live cut that I really like and say, "This is my favorite live cut," and share that on Facebook. Yeah, so
I just think it's all about the approach, and I just agree. And the only time, so I've got a WhatsApp message sitting there from 3 days ago, because it's all about the person who sent it and not about me. So I'm just taking my merry time answering it. But otherwise, I don't care what stream it comes in. If it's all about me, I just go, "Oh, yeah, okay," and I'm hooked. I don't care what way they're messaging me.
Yeah, well, so that's the piece, is that whether I'm messaging you on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, or Instagram, it is about them. Is the minute there's a great line, and I don't care how you feel about him politically, but there's a great line.
Oh no, you're not allowed to say that word about that current president. That we don't have that on our show.
No. I'm going to talk about Hillary and Bill Clinton.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. So Hillary Clinton supposedly told Bill Clinton after he entered the race that if we make it about us, we'll lose. If we make it about them being the people, we'll win. And that's why he went door to door in New Hampshire and in Iowa to win those primaries, because he made it about them.
Yeah.
Again, I don't care how you feel about the Clintons personally, but she was absolutely 100% right that if we make it about our candidate, and it's always about our candidate, and look, we're going to get a placement. Okay, let me break the news to you, people. If you're not getting a placement, you're not a recruiter for long. Don't worry about that. Fixate on delivering the best possible experience for that candidate. I can't tell you, I love Star Wars, and if I go out there and I look for candidates who like React.js and like Star Wars, I say, I'll send them a message. I'll send them a message that says, I'm just looking over on the other screen because I sent somebody to the other day. Hey, Derek, came across your Facebook profile and noticed that you've got a strong interest in React.js and Star Wars. We love Star Wars and React.js at RentPath. Wondering if you have the opportunity for a conversation? ? What are you going to do next in your career? ? Left it at that.
And he responded?
Like
actually, he did respond, and I sent him a link to my Calendly LinkedIn. We're talking on Thursday.
Nice.
See?
Yep.
What's
And I think
going on in the channel?
People get super offended that you're seeing stuff on Facebook, then they're idiots because they could make it private versus public. You know, like I think people know that now, don't they?
Yeah, I do think people know that, especially with GDPR and also with the California referendum on privacy rights. So I think that's really being highlighted. And I think also that Facebook, there's supposedly a big justice investigation into privacy on Facebook, and Facebook's trying to escape it by paying fines ahead of time. As opposed to going through the trial. It was on Wired magazine yesterday. Really interesting article there. It was late and it was on Valentine's Day, so I wasn't supposed to be reading my I'm sorry, babes. I know you're listening. You went to sleep and I was reading Wired magazine
because you just I'm kidding. She's still here. I'm joking. She's still here.
Yeah. So, but as much as we're talking about Facebook, I think that Facebook is going to be the next LinkedIn because it has more people, it has more information. But I say next, and I think that we as recruiters, we really have to stay ahead of that next. And I think that where we've got to go is we've got to go and have conversations on WhatsApp and on Instagram. Instagram, I've had far more success on Instagram than I've had on Facebook.
Wow.
I literally have about a 73%. Hold on.
Actually, it's quite good now because you do see those messages that I'm sure I've got a request. It won't open. Now I need it to open. At one point it was like the messages were quite hidden, but actually now I'm sure I see it on my homepage or in my notifications somewhere.
On Instagram? I feel like most people wouldn't, but I don't know.
Say that again.
So here's
So most people put their job titles on Instagram, the updated, keep it
No,
updated.
but you can find them from other ways, like links they share out on Twitter or from their Facebook profile. See, mine's showing one request at the top.
So one of my favorite things right now that I'm working on finding HTML email developer and graphic designer. So what I've done to find those individuals is I've gone to DuckDuckGo. Ronnie's still on. He knew I was going to say DuckDuckGo. I love the DuckDuckGo. I love the bangs. So DuckDuckGo, I go on there and I go site:/Instagram link:/Fiverr.com. So I'm looking for those people who are showing their Fiverr profiles, and I'm knowing that they're having that contact information there. If you're on Fiverr, you're looking for work, or I'm looking for people who are link:/Behance.net, and I'm looking for those individuals there. Also, marketers, if you're looking for marketing professionals. Yeah, Behance is a great website, and if you can tear it up, well, I mean, Behance, all you have to do is put in quotation marks, hire me in quotation marks, and you'll get a stream of people that'll come up to you.
Well, not only that, you can get all their you can just search within it and get all their contact details. It's like it's full of portfolios as well. You can sit there with your designer and say, "These are the designers you want." Like crazy.
Yeah. So I'm working on that, but like also with engineers, you'll be surprised that engineers that are talking about and showing off pictures of their code, like if you go under hashtag React.js, like I do all the time, you'll see pictures of people who are showing off their code. If I do that, then I can go find their GitHub profile, doing an image search. I mean, GitHub profile, if it's attached to their Instagram feed. And if they're on Instagram talking about their code and I've noticed their code, I can get hyper personalized, and I don't know that there's a character limit. I try to keep my messages short and sweet and to the point. Like, notice that you really like coding. Would you be open to a remote opportunity?
Yeah, what coder wouldn't?
See, the thing with the Instagram stories is, people get quite responsive, so you tend to go into your messages more, and then you see the message request. Whereas initially you wouldn't see them, so it was a bit like the old Facebook other inbox, which was so hidden. So wait a minute. The Facebook other inbox is still hidden. What you've got to do, if you want to get around it, there are two ways to get around it. And I'm going to give the first way is that you can go into your Messenger. If you go into Messenger on your phone and you type in who you're looking for and then send them that message, it will pop up on their mobile at the top of their box.
Cheeky.
So that's So if I'm on mobile,
Mm.
and unfortunately all of us here are connected, and I go in and I type in the person that I'm looking for in the top box here, and it pulls up. If I send mobile to mobile, it shows up at the top of their inbox on mobile.
Okay.
It will stay there until you answer it.
Unless you've been blocked.
Unless you've been blocked. Now, the other way...
And the only way you're going to get blocked is to not use your actual personal profile, so have no friends, have everything hidden, not have filled out your information. Those kind of people get blocked. It's like obvious.
Well, those people are inauthentic, right? And I don't think you can fake authenticity. I think Steve Levy would probably be here to kind of talk a little bit more about the fact that trying to be authentic means that that you're not authentic at all, right?
Yeah.
So that you're missing the message. Wait, drink.
You said the buzzword. That means we have to.
Is the buzzword Levy or authentic?
Authentic.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, drink. Okay, all right. I'm there with you.
That's quite funny. Sorry, just to answer, there was a question. I've lost my mouse under the dog. There it is. Right. Sorry. It's just right. No one can see this. Sorry, he's like right there. He's being a pest. He's normally out walking at this time. I don't know what's going on upstairs. But there was a question about Instagram. But I think Instagram to me is a bit like Facebook. If you don't, again, have a photo that you can see really clearly. If you don't fill out your bio, stuff like that, people won't respond to your messages on there.
Yeah.
And a public profile. People have these private profiles. Yeah. Like, how do you expect to gain followers?
I mean, I think that I reach out to a fair amount of people on Instagram. My Instagram profile is a picture of me. It says making art helps me overcome my anxiety because I have anxiety disorder. Building companies is my favorite. Opinions are my own. Responsibility is freedom, which is very similar to my Twitter page. But the only thing I really post are pictures of my daughter and of artwork that I do because I like to do Star Wars art.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
That is quite cryptic. So
it is. Yeah.
Building companies is my favorite, I suppose. I use Linktree for the links. It's awesome because you can add all different links. So I've got like the show and I've got my website and I've got my different events and very cool. Gets around the whole one link.
Yeah.
I'm not being distracted by the dog.
I was wondering. I was like, what is going on over there?
Yeah. Hopefully they're going out for a walk. I've just killed the show. I'm so sorry, guys. That was very distracting.
No worries. It's all good. It's like Brian. How was the show? I was staged by a dog. Really?
Yeah. He just started humping Lance's head. Oh god. Anyway.
One thing that's driving me nuts about Facebook, and it really pisses me off, is that you used to be able to click to see view as and see what you like to the public. So you could make sure you didn't accidentally post like beer drinking pictures or whatever publicly, but it's gone. So now I literally have to go through each photo, unless I'm wrong, to see what's public.
You're not. You're not wrong. I mean, now they've got it set up to where so you guys run this page for the searchologist. And you have to determine whether you're going to post as yourself or post as a searchologist. And again, all that's indexed through the use of different intersects when you're looking at Facebook or kind of searching that content or those messages.
Yeah, I run like 6 or 7 pages.
If you go into so for your stuff,
you've got the band.
If you go into the question mark into the security thing, you can check your activity log, and you can go through that much more quickly. So you go photos of you. And it'll show which ones are public.
Like, why do they not want you to see what's public? I think that's really.
Shally made a comment about Facebook that you should be really afraid about what they know about you based not just on what you post, but what you don't post, based upon the activities that you usually engage in and the personas that you operate around.
What do you mean by what you not post? That's interesting.
Well, if you're suddenly going from being somebody who's posting a lot about your family and you stop posting about your family, maybe Facebook can diagnose that you're either depressed or you're about to go through a divorce, or that you've recently made that purchase of that automobile because you're not looking for it anymore, or you haven't posted pictures of automobiles that you've had or that you've sold it, right? So there's a lot of content, there's a lot of information that's being extrapolated that you're using data science to fill in the gaps of what isn't there.
That's
So
really
we all use it for free.
We're the bacon.
right. But I'm getting something out of it too. Like they're getting something out of it, and so am I. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's it. That's why I never complain, because I'm like, I'm using this for free. So if they want to work out that I'm a divorced female of a certain age who likes XYZ, I'm like, I'll just scroll past your ads.
You know, that's how I felt about LinkedIn until they banned me.
But you weren't doing anything wrong.
I wasn't doing anything wrong.
No.
How dare
There's
you?
nothing in the user agreement about building scripts.
I'm not going to out anybody else that I know that is actively talking about how to build scripts in different groups. I'm not going to do that.
No.
You know, actually, but you know, we do talk about
To
that.
be honest, though, you were still using the platform. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
were
Oh,
still
yeah.
within the platform. I do have a problem with people like scraping email addresses from Slack's API to then bulk message them on another site about something else on another site. That I have an issue with. But to be honest, you were actually kind of just making it a better user experience for yourself.
You know,
One could split hairs on that.
I'm not going to respond to your comment about scraping Slack.
I'm not referring to you.
Oh, good. I was like, there's some bait. Should I take it and run with it?
I'm not sure. But if you were scraping it, you would be using it to message people about your jobs in a personalized way. Whereas this was actually something completely self-serving, and that was my issue with it.
No, so like scraping Slack, I don't really scrape Slack, probably because I don't have a data miner script for that. But like with Slack, I think that Slack is something that people are still overlooking. That you can, you know, if you're looking for a React engineer, are you in WordPress? Are you looking in the WordPress groups? I also think that from a hiring manager perspective, you know, you can show a hiring manager somebody's GitHub profile, but you can also show the conversations they're leading in Slack. So I think that's equally as valuable from a social experience.
Yeah. And you can go in and interact properly.
Yeah.
You know?
And there are rules on Slack. You can be banned just like everywhere else.
Yeah. So
do you ever send someone's Facebook profile that's public to a hiring manager and say, check it out?
No. I don't. Because
did you see that poll going around the other day where that was what someone was trying to get at? And I'm going, but it's missing the big thing here that recruiters use this for sourcing. That's what LinkedIn sells them, like the licenses for. But the whole thing was about, do you do exactly that? And I'm going, well, I'm not going to answer this poll. I'm not going to share it because it's very biased towards, do you discriminate because of what you see on social media?
So here's the, but wait a minute.
Their LinkedIn profile, why shouldn't we send them their public Facebook?
So I think that hiring managers are going to look at Facebook, depending upon the role. Like if you're looking for somebody who's going to be very professionally or very, very outwardly facing, like for instance, let's say you had a communications director, you would probably look at their Facebook profile and you'd probably look at their Instagram to see how they portray themselves from their personal brand, considering you're going to let them handle your company's professional brand.
Yeah.
So you let them body work themselves.
Yeah, let them do it. If they've got 5 minutes to not worry about a production problem that's brought the entire website down, sure, they've got time to look on Facebook. My guys are too busy.
Yeah.
Had this comment: if you are never banned from a social media website, were you ever really a recruiter?
I don't know. I've been banned from meetup.org or meetup.com.
Wow.
Yeah, because
you're a
you can
stalker and you're not allowed to meet people in real life, or
well, no, it's because I was sending too many messages through their message board, because that's another freebie.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it Tim Cup that's banned from Twitter right now? I think it's really
get banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it
What
has to
do
do
you
with
have to do to get banned from?
He did some very naughty tweets about a certain company that didn't appreciate it, because that's what I've heard. Yeah, and so they might have had a connection, and so there's a free Tin Cup hashtag. It's hilarious.
I thought that's what Twitter was for. when you get crap customer service.
Only
Yeah.
if you're the president of the United States can you respond about having crap service.
Oh, I see. Good to know.
So it's like other platforms somebody's actually been banned from, huh? What about recruiters that still have this drives me nuts? They still have a personal Facebook page and then they have their business Facebook page.
I don't get that at all. I don't get that at all. Like that's just like too much shit to keep up with.
Yeah. And it just doesn't make you don't look legit. I would never respond to that other one.
Well, I just ignored a friend request from somebody this morning and they did exactly that. I was like, no, I don't want Audra night recruitment. I want Audra.
Right. Last thing I want is a friend who's going to be posting jobs.
I know. Yeah. But that's the beautiful narcissistic side of social media. That you can have this big friends network and these big followers and they've all muted you and unfollowed you. So actually you've got no reach at all. Because you created 1,000 friends on Facebook and none of them are seeing your posts because all you post is jobs. Unfollow, my favorite button.
Well, don't you remember that was like the big thing in ATSs like 6 years ago? It was like, yeah, every time you post a job, it'll post it to Facebook every 2 days. My friends were like, I can't be friends with you anymore. You're posting all these jobs. They're not relevant to me.
Right. Spam.
Yeah.
But some ATSs still push that, and that's like a big sell for them.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think that the big push right now in spam is text messaging recruiting.
Yeah. And you still need to make your text message about the person receiving the message.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not buying to any of these platforms. I think that it's much easier for me to text from my actual number as opposed to some other esoteric number that if they call back, they're not going to be able to reach me. I mean, candidates deserve to have some kind of intimacy. This is one of the 3 most important decisions they're probably going to make.
15,000 emails at once. Very intimate.
Very intimate. Very intimate. Obviously, we know how I dated when I was in college.
But I do like the I can't think of the name of it. It's gone out of my head. There's one it's all to do with like the application process. So once someone applies, they actually get a text message with a GIF in it, which says we're really excited to get it. It's really personalized. In that area, keeping people in. We've got this candidate ghosting going on. We've got to keep people in. I like it then. I don't necessarily like it for the spam outreach.
How's it personalized if everybody's getting the same gift?
Yeah.
GIF. No, you can send a different GIF.
You say GIF on your side of the world. We say GIF over here.
GIF.
I say GIF.
Levy's here.
I'm giving a charge. Yes, I'm wearing a pink cowboy shirt for you, Steve.
Oh. Finkelstein. I like that. That's gonna stick.
Are you two gonna like be hanging out together in Seattle, and it's gonna be kind of weird because there's gonna be all this weird language going on, like Finkelstein?
No. Steve is one of my mentors. He can Eskimo sourcing kisses. Steve's one of my mentors. Whenever I get into a bind that I can't get out of, I call Steve and I say, "What's up?" And also, he recently came by the office here in Atlanta and kind of did an impromptu jam with one of our technical recruiters. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm excited to be on this show, because it's like giving back to the broader sourcing community and saying, this is what works, this is what's weird, this is what doesn't. And I think Steve is one of the really good people who does that. So that's my psychopathy for you, Steve, this today.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Shout out, he'll be in Boston next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday. No pressure, Robin Fink, but you want to be in Boston next Thursday.
I don't think Robin's here. Let me check. I don't know. Has she made it?
I don't know.
Hang on. There's another page. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, good. Okay.
No.
Another page of people.
But as someone I'm not a sourcer, so I get it, and I know a lot of sourcers. But so what's the best way on Twitter? Do you find people through actually Twitter, or do you find them somewhere else doing Boolean and it takes you to Twitter?
So Twitter I use as like a second place to hit a message. I look to see how active that person is on Twitter. Like if the person isn't very active on Twitter, the idea of sending them a DM does not It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Automatic posts of jobs for the last year, you know.
Pretty much. Yeah, there's no activity there.
It can be quite good for talent pooling, though, can't it? So you can find lots of tech people there and put them in lists. Sorry?
Yeah, I very candidly believe in that. But you talk about that list, is it goes back to it being about them and not about you, is that I try to, when I'm looking for candidates that are for closure engineers, and I do a nationwide search for closure engineers, I talk quite often about closure, about the developments that are taking place in the community, so that I can see who's engaging there, and if you will, I leave the breadcrumbs and see if they'll come back to me. One of the most successful posts that I put out was that I had my engineering team write a post about which one was better, Elixir or Closure, and I put that out. Wow, I got Closure engineers, I got Elixir engineers, and they were like, "Let me come there and show you what's what." And I was like, "Okay, that's awesome." You know, didn't read my bio. I'm not an engineer. I'm a recruiter, but I want to talk to you now.
Oh, that's clever. So it's making a persona out of them, and they're gonna find interesting.
Absolutely.
I think Twitter's really undervalued in the recruitment community.
I think Twitter is a very long game, and I think that the recruitment community needs immediate success, immediate hits.
And a long game.
Well, I don't think that there are a lot of people in the industry that are here to play the long game. Is that,
you're recruiting the same kind of roles all the time, right?
So I'm always recruiting technologists, but I think that most people who are in recruiting are only going to be in recruiting for maybe 2 to 3 years. I think that they're going to, I think that they're going to come into it and they're going to use it as a position to get somewhere else and move on. I think that there are very few people who actually have the 10 to 12 years worth of experience that are hands-on, either in sourcing or in recruiting, that are filling these director of talent acquisition roles today, right? Or becoming senior technical recruiters. I think that I think that there are a lot of people who got out during the recession, and I think there are a lot of people who, because the metrics don't stay in it as long as maybe they used to. I could be wrong.
Agency side or in-house side?
Agency side.
No wonder recruitment's so fucked up. Because you can't. If you come straight out of grad school, straight into a recruitment agency, and really you're just using it as a stopgap to get someone else, you're never going to care about the people that you're hiring and placing. You're never going to understand that we're playing with people's lives. Like,
if we gave a shit about people's lives, we wouldn't have to have a job about candidate experience, engagement, or coordination.
I know.
Okay. So I know.
I wouldn't be teaching candidate engagement. People would reply.
I mean, like, I don't
say that, Brian, because I've got a book coming out and I want to sell it,
Okay, but I want you to sell your book because I want recruiters to give a fuck about their candidates.
Is that why I write it?
Yeah,
sorry, Ali. Australian, I can't help myself.
You're perfect for this job. I love your profile. Yeah. Earmuffs. Apparently, she has my daughter listening to this at home. Maddie is listening too.
Sorry, Maggie. I'm Australian. We have really potty mouths, like really big potty mouths.
Don't worry, Maddie's 2.5 years old.
Oh,
okay. Maddie, you know that potty that you sit on and you make a mess in? That's my mouth. Right.
Ooh, potty training.
Anybody who's listening on the podcast, you're missing out on the best facial expressions ever, which is such a shame. You need to watch the video chat this week. Quite funny. So what else should they be doing?
Well, I think that personalization is, I think if you're going to successfully use something like Facebook or something like Instagram, that I say be short, but you do need to have personalization there. I'll go back to something that Shally talks about in the sourcing method, is he talks about 7 steps of personalization in each email or each outreach. It could be something as simple as good morning. It could be something as simple as, I noticed that you work at Integral Ads. I noticed that you are a software developer, but it doesn't need to be, you'd be perfect for this job. I don't know anything about it. Those are things that recruiters that are in this thing for 2 years say, is you'd be perfect for this job. What do you know? You just came out of college. You don't know anything.
you've never had an actual job to understand what it feels like to change actual jobs.
Right.
Scary.
I mean, you know,
yeah,
it is that. So, yeah.
I know it's easier to
It
change
is.
jobs now, and it's probably slightly less scary, but there are still people that they get in right in their comfort zone and they're loving their job, and the thought of actually just shifting, even if it's the building next door for a new job, it's scary.
It's a massive.
It's a big change. It's a life choice. That's why I try to present with candidates and say, look, and if this sounds canned, I apologize, because I really try to make this sound as authentic as authentic as possible. Is that I think that there are two decisions that a candidate has to make when they're considering making a new role, making a jump. The first of which is this jump going to stretch my professional capabilities in new and different ways? If the answer is anything but a resounding yes, they don't need to make this move, because all that means is that they're going to be making a lateral in terms of responsibilities, and they're not going to be learning or growing professionally or personally.
What if it pays a boatload more?
Yeah. Well, so that's the second question. The second question is, if you're going to go to the casino and you're going to bet everything on a new job, how much do you want to get paid? Because at the end of the day, this is really less about me, and this is more about you and your financial well-being. If you're going to take this kind of chance, what do you want to win at the casino?
I like that.
Yeah.
Again, trying very desperately not to make that sound canned, but I've been saying that probably since about 2010.
So that gets you their high top end of what they really want, and then you offer them way less. Is that the trick?
No. I'm not trying to offer them way less. I think that I think that that's a game that, again, goes against the trust that you're trying to build. Is that I think whether you're an agency recruiter or whether you're an internal talent acquisition professional, that it's your responsibility to, sorry, I got a slack. It's your responsibility to really make sure that you're helping that person take a step up on those two criteria that we've put together.
Because you want the person to stay. You don't want them to fall out between the offer and the start date, or in the first 2 months or whatever. You want them to stay and make the right move.
Absolutely.
On either side.
You want that candidate to stay around for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want them to respect you and refer you more people, and to be like, oh my God, that Brian Fink is the best recruiter I've ever spoken to. You don't go anywhere else. It was funny writing, because I wrote the book all backwards, and I've just had to write the first chapter. And I talk about Tina Maddock, who was the rec-to-rec that placed me really incredibly professionally into the first agency that was a proper professional agency rather than the two before it. And I learned so much about recruitment, a bit like you were saying at the beginning, Brian, about candidate experience, from her. And she's the only person I recommend in the rec-to-rec space, full stop.
Oh,
and it's like been 15, 16 years. It's that. They don't forget how you made them feel, right?
Right. I mean, when I was with Velocint with Josh McAfee, so it was an agency that focused on placing technical talent and also placing recruiters. I still have recruiters who call me today for their next job, right? Because they want to know where it is that they want to go because of the way that they were treated. And I say, well, I'm not in that business anymore. Well, can you tell me if this sounds right? Allie, God bless her, she knows that I get sucked into a lot of breakfasts with people where I sit down and have a conversation with people, and they're not my candidate anymore, but they're always going to be my candidate because of what was delivered to them.
Yeah.
Brian, when was the last time someone you coveted, somebody I coveted, surprised me? Steve, I coveted you.
Not to join.
Actually, that's a really good question. I had a candidate at the beginning of the year. Careful, Finky. I had a candidate who was at the beginning of the year who it really did surprise me, is that she was underpaid in her existing role. She had come in and she had really taken the team by storm. She had shown them through her code samples and through her live coding that she not only was really special, but that she wanted to be here, and we wanted her to be here. And I said to my team, I said, she is grossly underpaid. She was about $25,000 under market.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not bragging, but we got her to be, we got her from $90,000 to $120,000.
Okay.
2 days before she was supposed to start, her company came back to her and said, "We don't want to lose you."
Of course.
And they took her to 130. Now, am I excited that somebody got $40,000 more than they were paid? Absolutely. But I had a conversation with her and said, "I just want you to know that this is evident that we were right, that you were that undervalued." And I really did covet her. I really wanted her to be a member of the team. The door is still open. I told her if things change in the next 90 days, and if it doesn't make sense for her to stay, that the door's open for us to have that conversation. I have my senior director of engineering. I have my director of engineering on board with that. We're not going to pay her the 130. We pay her the 120 if she wanted to come on board with us. So
there were other reasons that she was looking for a job besides the money difference, though.
Absolutely. I think that part of the reason that she was looking is that, and one of the things that we're very accomplished with here is that we offer you the opportunity to go to conferences of your choice, of your choosing, that we pay for you to do so. When you come back, though, you're going to teach a lunch and learn. And
awesome. Love that.
And so we have that. Other candidates that have surprised me is that I had a candidate who was in process for director of engineering, and we opened up a senior director of engineering, and he wasn't qualified for that role, and he felt that he shouldn't be with the company at all, and pulled himself out of contention for the director of engineering role. And that was a blow to me, and that was somebody that I deeply coveted because of their experience in the e-commerce space. Unfortunately, since we had that conversation, that gentleman has had 2 jobs.
Yeah. So going back to the lady for a second, I think some of the reason that we women get underpaid is that we'll say we'll have 10 grand more, and a male will go, "I'll have 20 grand more." And the boss is, of course, going to give us 10 grand more because we're happy with that, and they've got a budget to keep. And I think that's how we end up that way. We women never ask for what we're worth, really. We're never quite as audacious. And that's how you end up with such a big gap. But I do think at the same time, the company had a responsibility to go, wow, this is a huge gap between her and everyone else here. If they can afford 130, they could afford to have paid her 120 all along.
Right. So but it's this, and if you want to talk about the gender imbalance, I make the comment to Stephanie all the time. I'm like, do these guys, the guys who apply for my job, do they even read the job description? And I mean guys, because women, if a woman applies for a job that I've got posted, she meets 95% of the criteria. We don't apply. Yeah, guys, it's just like, oh, I think I can do that. And that's like,
I've never written the script, but what the hell?
I had somebody the other day who applied for a lead Salesforce engineer. Do you know what he does? He sells carpeting.
Perfect. He's perfect. Hire him now. Levy had another suggestion here, which is lovely. Get your head of engineering to send her congratulations.
So, Steve, you already told me that.
Actually, a handwritten card.
You already told me that, and I did have my director of engineering reach out to her directly.
About that, she went with a company that really didn't value her until they had to, versus a company that did.
She'll move.
But
she'll be back.
Keep in touch with her, Brian. She's going to move.
She is going to come here second quarter.
Stay in touch with her. Send her muffins and keep her warm. She's going to move.
What if she's?
I can feel it in my bones.
Intolerant? What if she's gluten intolerant?
Send her anyway.
I'm not going there.
Send her chocolates, whatever. Send her Valentine's Day crap, Anyway, oh sorry, is that potty mouth again?
Simple, and then send her that or Instagram.
Yeah.
Either way, keep in touch with her because she's still going to realize that there were other reasons that she wanted to move, and she's just forgotten them right now for money. I don't know if Glenn's here to tell me if we have a show next week. I'm not sure that we do. We might. We'll find out. But it's certainly not as advertised currently. We have we're just having one of those weeks where maybe we'll come back to you. It might be a bit last minute next. We might just get Levy on for fun.
Wait, he's gonna be hungover with me.
Okay, so we won't do that. That would be dreadful. Are there anything that you would like to leave us with? How can we get in contact with you, Brian? we want to hear the end of the story about this girl because we know you're going to hire her. Sorry, woman. That was really bad. How should people find you? Where should they stalk you?
People should stalk me on Facebook. Facebook Messenger is where I respond 9 out of 10 times. That is whenever I go to conferences, I try to tell people that if you've got a question, concern, or consideration, hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I'll get back to you on that. I think that's where people can find me. Twitter, I'm not as good on Twitter as I used to be.
Twitter DMs are annoying.
But there's something new coming. There's something new coming. There's supposed to be a new format, right?
Oh, I love it. I still love using it. I just find it frustrating when I get a Twitter DM. So
yeah,
Hungover Audra and Steve sounds fun show.
Oh yeah, because you guys are going to have the a new platform for Trump.
That word is banned on this show. Seriously, kids. Right. What are you doing next week that means you're going to be hungover on Friday?
We're doing the
you guys are going.
We talked about Thursday night, the 21st in Boston.
Yeah, so there's a lot of activity that's coming up with SourceCon meetups. I'd encourage somebody that if you're listening and you've never been to one, to go to one. Other stuff that I would leave people with is I want to thank Michael Krause, because I think Michael Krause put the three of us in touch with each other. And I'm really pumped that I had a great conversation with him this morning. I know that he's looking for more recruiters to join his team. What else can I say?
The show, so we had to move it, but he's gonna be on the show.
So he was Friday, so he's now.
Yeah, and then I'll find someone for next week. Other than that, I'd like to thank my Atlanta contingency, Ronnie Bratcher, who always is in my corner, always super supportive.
He's awesome.
Steve, he is fantastic. He is great, and actually, I would not have given my first talk on how to hack Slack if it wasn't for Ronnie telling me, "Hey, you can do this."
Wow.
So yeah, that's me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it until I get banned from LinkedIn again.
Love it.
Well, if you get banned again, we might have to have you back.
Oh, excellent! That sounds like the most amount of fun.
Yeah, I just want to see how you get banned this time.
The F jar. The F jar. Yeah.
Apologies to your wife for my swear words. Books. We probably need to make sure our guests don't have children in the background. Anyway, what a fun show. Thank you very much for entertaining our Friday. Thank you to everyone on the channel who's been very, very chatty. I don't know if we'll see you next week, but we'll certainly see you the week after. So.
Thank you again.
Thanks for making time for me today.
Thank you so much. No, we appreciate your time very much. It's been brilliant. So thank you. Bye, guys. Take care. Bye. You too.
Bye.